The following is brought to you by Bleacher Report. If you guys want to check out my live post-game reaction show, make sure to have the Bleacher Report app downloaded and ready to fire up right after the game. You'll find me in the Chargers section. Bolt up.
Yo to Bolt fam, it's the director. Oh, can you feel it? Bolt fam, an 8-4 record here rounding out the season. The Jim Harbaugh inaugural season, the kickoff to the new era, and the Chargers are just 2 games away from a double-digit win season. Oh, man, this game was crazy, too. First off, before we get too deep into the conversation here, hats off to the defense, man. Take a bow, defense. Y'all saved the day, played Superman, because the offense just could not get anything going versus an Atlanta Falcons defense that certainly isn't as good as other defenses we've played this season, nor will we play for the remainder of the year. Bit concerning. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on, but we got to give our flowers to the defense, who had an absolutely spectacular day, and I think we're going to highlight one individual, man. Have a day rookie cornerback, Talib Still. This is a dude that during the draft, I'll be honest with you guys, I didn't know who this feller was. This is a part of football where being a fan is the best part, right? You sit back, you say, hey, I don't know much about this dude. The front office, the scouts, those guys, they know what they're doing. We got to trust that he'll be an impact player. And here he comes, rookie season, showing us, I don't know, reflections and shadows of Quentin Jammer, Chris Harris Jr., Brandon Flowers. Like, this guy as a mid-round pick is absolutely killing it. In this game alone, if my memory is serving well, this man had an interception, a touchdown, or I should say 2 interceptions and a touchdown, plenty of pass breakups, big moments, big plays throughout the game, and a big reason why the Chargers, in any capacity, are taking home the dub this week. I have to imagine they're in the locker room right now, screaming, hollering, cheering, who's got it better than us? Nobody's. All the Harbaugh-isms, and that football, that game ball, is being passed down the line and handed to Talib Still. Absolutely incredible individual effort this week. The Chargers offense unable to score. Talib Still says, we're going to pick you up while you guys are down. He scores a touchdown, putting the Chargers in just enough of a lead where they can keep the Falcons contained to just 13 points. 17 points will do the job. Thanks to, once again, the efforts of the defense. Absolutely huge defensive effort by the Chargers this week. And not just to mention, the Chargers and Talib Still, this team was going bananas in terms of the interceptions this week. Of course, you guys saw Derwin James. He hauled in the last interception to close this game out. Big play by him. His first interception of the season, mind you. Couldn't have come at a better time. Chargers needed to grab the dub late here. I kept having heart attacks as a Chargers fan, with so many last-second, losses all over the place, just checkered throughout our history. They found a way to win off the effort of a Derwin James interception. We also, again, tip of the hat to you, good sir, the veteran, literally just got here like 2 days ago. Marcus May, the veteran safety out of Miami, jumps in, grabs an interception, his first as a Charger, his first game as a Charger, maybe his first handful of plays as a Charger. I couldn't believe he was activated for this game, having so little time to acclimate to the playbook, acclimate to the team. And here he comes casually just throwing or grabbing his first interception as a lightning bolt. Big day for the secondary, dude. You had a huge sack. I think one of the very few, or maybe even it was just a pass rush by Jasir Taylor. You had a big game by Tony Jefferson, man. Tony Jefferson turning back the clock. Looks like a mini Derwin out there with the kind of power he's putting into those tackles. Very involved versus the run. He played high safety a lot for this game too. Just very crazy, wild day for the secondary, who in a lot of ways saved our butts. And I'm going to credit the secondary and Dan Henley as well. In terms of the linebacker, mainly for the win this week. Defensive line did some good things. Let's not throw them under the bus too hard. Only generated the 1 sack via Tito, right? Tito's the one that got in for that one. Minus 11 yards on the last drive. That's pretty big. That's a pivotal moment in the game. Tito needs to be credited for it. He actually also forced a fumble. Of course, we didn't jump on it. But that was a big loss of yards that did end up helping the Chargers win at the last second here. It resulted in a long fourth and 12 try on which the Chargers ended up intercepting Kirk Cousins on that one. Still very, very big day. Defensive line, we will go ahead and put a note in there that does concern me a little bit. The Chargers defensive line hasn't logged very many sacks over the course of, let's say, the last 3 weeks or so. Since that huge run by Thule, it's been a little bit dry, right? Maybe it's 2 weeks now. It's been a little bit dry out here. Chargers defensive line needs to find a way to get things kick-started again, because we saw plenty of pressures, and they did, I will credit them, they did affect a lot of the opportunities the DBs had to pick off Kirk Cousins today. Like, they deserve a lot of credit there. They were in the face of Kirk. They were causing overthrows or causing panic throws, and those things did help out the secondary tremendously in generating turnovers. And that's where you kind of have to ask yourself, like, how much is a sack worth? We're not logging sacks, but we're logging pressures that are resulting in turnovers. Like, the defensive line did do their jobs. We do hope to see a little bit more consistency in generating actual sacks and stuff like that too. But either way, defense, fantastic job. Dan Henley, fantastic day as well. It is no small matter defending Bijan Robinson. In my opinion, a top 3 running back in the entirety of the NFL right now. He's both a threat through the pass, or on the ground, and in the passing game. And Dan Henley did a fantastic job of defending him. Also credit Troy Dye, who was likely playing in lieu of Denzel Perryman, who's been a little bit banged up and injured lately. They did a fantastic job together in holding down the fort versus Bijan Robinson. Sure, I think Bijan ended up still having a pretty good day statistically, but when it mattered, when it was time to get a stop, when it was time to not allow that first down, the team did a good job at making those plays in those moments. Because if you take a look at the stats, Bijan Robinson still 100 yards and a touchdown. Not to mention, he also logged another 33 yards, so 135 yards and a touchdown for Bijan Robinson in the day. And you would say, hey, man, there's nobody holding down Bijan. What are you talking about? The stat doesn't reflect. It's more about the moments and where Bijan could have continued to be a difference maker. He could have continued to blow things up and extend drives, which we did see a little bit of. But Bijan, or I should say, Dan Henley and Troy Dye did a good job of showing up in those big moments, despite the big stats by Bijan Robinson this week. Killer day for the defense, man. And that was definitely their best player this week. Bijan Robinson, he was awesome. We saw some big plays by, Drake London. Even McLeod had some good plays this week. We expected that from the Falcons offense. They have a hugely impressive offense, very dangerous in the passing game. They got weapons galore, right? Kyle Pitts, who I don't think logged this reception this week, right? 2 targets, 0 receptions. Yeah, no receptions for Kyle Pitts. Beautiful effort by the Chargers to make that happen. They also got, again, Drake London, who was kind of crazy this week, if I'm being honest, man. Like, some of the catches he was making was unbelievable. Of course, McLeod had himself a game, too. Mooney has been somebody that Kirk Cousins has been looking at a lot. And, of course, you got Bijan in the passing game as well. Very, very dangerous offense. We expected them to score. Matter of fact, in my score prediction, I had them logging another touchdown in this game. It was going to be closer to like 20-something to like 20, versus the Falcons, because I felt that offense was just too dangerous. This is going to be one of those games where you look at the Falcons season and see how many points they score consistently throughout each game. The Chargers defense showed up once again, man. And they showed up in such a way that if without them, we'd easily lose this game. It was off of their effort, off of their big plays, off of their turnovers that made this a successful day for the Chargers and logged another dub in the win column. Right now, the Chargers in the wild card, tied with the Ravens, I think, both at 8-4. That's absolutely insane, man. The inaugural season for Jim Harbaugh. I would already say that's a huge triumph. Let's grab at least 2 more wins this season, right? 2 out of the last 4 games, and round off a nice double-digit season for the Chargers, man. Absolutely insane. Now, we can't talk about the defensive mega effort by the Chargers without talking about a little bit of what we need to do to get things right on the offense. I'm going to say this is maybe the most concerning offensive day I've seen for the Chargers this season, considering what the opponent had to offer us in terms of nice opportunities to move the football this week. The Falcons this week, I would say a very poor passing offense. I think they ranked, if I remember this correctly, I'm kind of spitballing here. I think they ranked 7th in terms of yards allowed per game, the most yards allowed per game in the season so far. So a very poor passing defense, very, very poor pass rush. They had 10 sacks coming into this game, as well as a pretty not great run defense, right? On every level, the Chargers had an opportunity to get things going offensively, and they just couldn't do it. Now, the biggest concern I have right now as a Chargers fan, especially against this particular defense, has to be the amount of sacks that we gave up this week. My, oh my. I'm going to go take a look at the stats real quick. The Chargers allowed Justin Herbert to get sacked 5 times. I can't quite see the stat here. It's going to be a loss of a significant amount of yards, but 5 times this game. That is actually unbelievable, considering that the Falcons had only logged 10 total sacks throughout the entirety of the season up until this point. They generated 50% of their sacks against us, and it's week 13. What does that tell you, Bull fam? Again, this is a dub. I'm not upset. We're kind of needing to lay this out a little bit to help our future game plan out, right? Because the Chargers, let's say they do go 10 wins this season, they make the postseason. It's a huge, success for Jim Harbaugh in his first year. That's great. But I'm already starting, me and my chat especially, we're already kind of starting to think, all right, we look good. We're off to a good start. We're getting better every week. The offense still really needs help, though. We got to pick them up somehow. We're looking at the draft a little bit. Looking at the stats specifically from this game, though, 5 sacks allowed. 50% of the Falcons' generated sacks this season were in this game, okay? Looking at that stat specifically, what did the Chargers need to address very soon this offseason? Because the tackles ain't the problem. We got 2 of the best tackles in the entirety of football in Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, right? That interior is so bad that I think if you go back and take a look at all the sacks, every single sack this game, I'm pretty sure they're going to be coming from the interior. It was especially bad this week. It's reflective on what we've seen the entirety of this season. The Chargers need to go out there and either draft or sign via free agency an additional guard. Maybe Zion Johnson works out. I don't know. He's been pretty bad, at least from what I can recall. And a center, for sure, a new center this offseason. It's been pretty brutal. And that got us asking in terms of the chat. While we were watching the game, all of us were having heart attacks, of course. The Falcons were moving as well as they have been all week, or I should say all season. The Chargers were really not finding any success on offense. We started asking, okay, in terms of, this came in from one of our viewers, Tara. She was asking, okay, director, out of these 3 issues, how would you rank them in terms of the offense, right? Is it the interior offensive line being really bad? Is it the wide receivers not getting open? Or is it Justin Herbert holding the ball too long? And when I saw all of those laid down in front of me, funny enough, and it could change depending on watching back and looking at the tape and all this kind of stuff, seeing it all laid out, to me, my first thought was Justin Herbert with a receiver that can get open consistently and quickly, a separator, whatever. We know what that looks like because of his connection with Keenan Allen in years past. That may end up saving things a little bit more than even interior offensive line. Because, yes, he was holding the ball kind of long. He wasn't finding much success in terms of finding availability in those wide receivers. A guy like T. Higgins, who's an excellent route runner and big dude, like that could be a massive, massive addition for the Chargers this offseason. They could find a nice, draft guy this year. They could trade up for a guy like Ted McMillan or something. That would be pretty huge. But I think receiver, honestly, when I saw it all laid out, kind of made me think twice. I was like, okay, that really does seem like a big issue. The Chargers certainly should address both this offseason. Get yourself a guard, a center, and a wide receiver. The offense is looking real smooth. If we have the luxury of picking up, let's say, like a third-round guy, I would be a massive fan of the Chargers getting Ollie Gordon this offseason. In terms of help from the running back position, let's say tight end, right? I know everyone's going to be connecting Colson Loveland to us from Michigan. Those are kind of like, cherries on top to me. But if we can get a guy, if we can get that center position solved, we can get a good wide receiver. I think free agency is maybe even a better solution at this point for the Chargers. Watch out for this offense. But right now, I'm going to tell you this. The big reason where all of us are looking ahead so much is because the offense is not in a good way right now. And it's actually to a point where I'm concerned, right? I don't know how I don't know how much Chargers fans expect from the team in their first year outside of making the playoffs, right? I think at this point of the year, it's very healthy for Chargers fans to say, hey, we're 8-4. We're very healthily, ahead of several teams that are on the bubble in terms of making the postseason. Like, let's go ahead and start expecting it, right? The chances of the Chargers making the postseason are pretty high at this point. I think it's pretty safe to assume that they're going to make it. Outside of that, I don't know how much of us are expecting the team to go super far in the postseason. We're all going to hope. We're going to be cheering. We're going to be loud, right? But we know the issues that the team has right now. And the biggest one, in my opinion, is the protection and weapons for Justin Herbert. The defense has looked as good as we've ever could have hoped. They're the top scoring defense in the NFL. They're making big plays. They made a huge impact via the draft, right? Tariq Still and Cam Hart had been insane together. The defense as a whole has been very, very impressive. The offense is going to need some help. I think they made the right calls this year in terms of the draft. They had a really huge impact player in Joe Alt, who's ending up being maybe one of the best rookies in this entire class. They had Ladd McConkey, who's ending up being one of the best rookie receivers in this entire class, which is insane because this class was already stacked. We're off to a really good start. Slam dunk by Joe Ortiz. We do need more work, though. And I think a lot of us know where we are. I think a lot of us expect, to make the postseason. Maybe we'll see how far they get. But we're getting close. I think when you take a realistic step back and you take a look at the team and say, hey, where we are versus where we started, especially with what we were looking like before the season, before Jim Harbaugh news, like this team has gone hands over fist so much better. So much better. This team has improved. Our future is very, very bright, and we all understand this. But we have some holes to fill. We got some problems to solve. We're already set at a lot of different positions, right? The quarterback, tackle. We got some great defensive talent. Like, we got some really good foundational pieces, but we got to get some things sorted out in terms of the offense. We need protection. We need weapons. And maybe we need a running back too. I don't know. Gus Edwards did okay this week. But a look at a whole from the team. Fantastic start to the Jim Harbaugh era. I don't think I could have asked for a better start. As I'm watching, I think T. Higgins bringing a touchdown. No, I'm not. I don't think I could have asked for a better start to the Jim Harbaugh year. An 8-4 start is already absolutely fantastic. I have full faith that we can catch 2 more dubs and round out a double-digit season. Either way, man, like, we're already way better than we were last year. We're off to a fantastic start, and the team just has an identity for the first time in a long, long time. How long has it been since the Chargers' identity hasn't been choking games? How long has it been since the Chargers' identity hasn't been, underperforming or undefined is probably a big one I saw all the time. What are the Chargers? Now we kind of know what the Chargers are. They're a rough, tough, get-at-you defense. They're a ground and pound offense. They need help. They need to continue building that idea and building these concepts. Maybe, honestly, if we're going to be throwing around needs for improvement, maybe Greg Roman continues to improve his play calling. There's some things this game that I did not appreciate, but I have seen some improvement overall from where we started to where we are now. But there are things that we can get right. And we're off to a really good start. We'll get a couple questions here from the chat. Pick up Allen now. We have Cap. Yeah. If you guys didn't hear the rumors, Keenan Allen, I can't remember what the podcast name was, but he said something to the effect of, hey, if I'm not here with the Bears next season, it's either here or back to LA. There's a chance that maybe we do get Keenan Allen back next season, which would be awesome. The chat also really wondering what's going on with DJ Chark. That is a mystery I'm not going to be able to solve for you guys. I don't know. That's my answer. I was at training camp for the entirety of the first week. I saw, because Justin Herbert was present that week, I saw Justin Herbert and DJ Chark connecting quite a bit. They look to have as good a chemistry as anybody on the team. I would have said that it would be crazy if he wasn't starting if he was healthy. Of course, he missed a whole bunch of games because he was injured. Now he's back. He hasn't logged a single catch. I don't know how many routes he's running, but we just don't see him. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you. I'm just hoping that maybe some point later in the season he does show a bit of an impact, because we got 4 games left. We got it now. It's now or never for DJ Chark, and I think that he would absolutely make a big impact if he were playing. We need a more perimeter guys out there to help free everybody up underneath. Kamani Vidal can be a really good receiving running back. Of course, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, those guys work very well underneath. We need help. And DJ Chark right now is probably our best chance at that. Who knows? Maybe a Brendan Rice comes out of nowhere and finds big success as another wide receiver option, but we're going to have to figure that sort of thing out. Well, guys, as a whole, we'll wrap this up by saying that this game was pretty massive. The Chargers, in every capacity in the past, should have lost this game. Jim Harbaugh continues to prove over and over and over again that we're not the same Chargers. We're going to find a way to win. This week, it was off the back and the efforts of our defense. Congratulations to the defense. Congratulations to Tariq Still for a fantastic, not just game, but rookie season. Congratulations to Joe Ortiz for an absolute slam dunk of a draft so far. We got 4 more weeks in the season. We got 2 more wins to double digits. Let's go get it, baby. And honestly, guys, if I'm being clear with you guys, I really honestly do think we're grabbing those 10 wins at least, right? Next week, it's the Chiefs, right? So I don't know about that one. But we got the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Patriots to round out the season too. Anything's possible, dude. Anything's possible. I think the Chargers got themselves as good a shot as anybody. And who knows about next week? Who knows? Maybe the Chargers find that fuego, and then we go in there and we take down the Chiefs in their own dojo. Who knows? Well, guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. If you enjoyed what you saw here, hit us up with a follow here on Bleacher Report. We'll catch you guys next time. As always, bolt up, stay frosty, and let's go out there and get that game ball, Tariq Still. Absolutely fantastic effort by him.